This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Say this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Say this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Say everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Say everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Singing this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, said I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Singing all around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Singing all around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Singing this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Two more times. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh yeah, Hilltop. Happy Sunday.
Good morning. Thank you, Lee. That was the perfect song. What a great song.
Here we go. Up
Yes,
we go.
Up we go. Up we go. Let's get that energy moving. A good day to do it. Happy Sunday. Happy new moon. Happy Mercury conjunct Uranus. That's going to be fun. It's kind of like
I was thinking that.
It's kind of like, because Uranus is in the temple of Mercury right now. It's in the house of Gemini. So it's like Mercury has come home and said, "You're here. Let me give you the passcodes to the Wi-Fi," and what mischief could ensue. So anyway, I'm glad you guys are here, and hello to you guys out there in the virtual world. I'm so happy that you're joining us this morning as well. I sound like I have just a little bit of an echo. Do I?
A little hot.
A little hot. A little hot. That's okay. All is good. Anyway, that's great. Thank you. Thank you, Henri. That was fabulous. So anyway, it's good to have you guys here as well. A lot of stuff going on, and so I'm excited to get into it. Let's see. As far as things that are happening, there's two things. We'll see a slide show up. If not, there's one right there. We're going to have Sunday service. We already know that. Youth and family is going on. I think Susie's down there right now. Is that okay? Very good. So she's down there doing that thing. So if you have friends or anybody that is interested in coming to service and they want to bring their children, we are able to accommodate them with the wise guidance of Reverend Laura, who is sitting right here beside me. So that is happening as well. Jim has got Kinship Cafe. Anything you want to say about that? Sure. Okay, please do.
Yeah, so Sunday mornings, and we're continuing a discussion about the problem of morality, which is a really exciting topic. So if you're interested in that, please come by and join us. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so that's happening. Let's see, what else is, the celebration of life for our beloved sister and friend Liz Jameson Dunn is going to be Saturday, June 6th at 2 p.m. And it's a great way to honor her and celebrate her life with stories and song, and it'll be a lovely celebration, so please attend if you can. And let's see, Open Mind Gift Shop has got all kinds of good stuff going on there. I know there was a raid there earlier this morning. In fact, that's why I think some people are not here yet. But anyway, so do go and check out the things that are happening there and the things that are available there. Let's see. Oh yeah, if you want to rent the building, a quinceañera, a party or something like that, this is your home. and you are able to do rentals, we'll work a deal with you. So just talk to Andrea about that. Let's see, prayer ministry, please do not leave without the benefit of prayer. There's a couple ways that you can do that. We're going to have a town hall meeting that I'll talk about in just a second after service. So there's a really good chance that Reverend Laura will not be doing a prayer circle, but, maybe you will. Maybe we'll all go after the town hall. But in either case, you can talk to her, you can talk to Paul, you can talk to Andrea. Any one of the practitioners would be available to prayer. You can fill out a prayer request. The practitioners meet every Friday morning and we pray. And so you can do that, or you can make an appointment with one of us if you would like to do it that way. So that's going on there. Your giving makes a difference. That's going on. Two things I want to talk about, though, that aren't on the slides. One is, for the next 3 Sundays, we're going to be having a town hall meeting to kind of discuss who we are as a center and what's happening with us. We are experiencing some financial challenges, and we want to be in integrity, and we want to include everybody in the community in that conversation about possibilities and things to do and where that will be. So that's happening. And then on top of that, Kurt and I have been talking, and we are going to start probably the first and second Sundays of the month. We're going to start a class on, so we're talking, the word is, of course, prosperity, but when you hear my talk today, you'll know that prosperity is not the word that I'm going to be using. It's more flourishing, which is the very nature of being. And so our goal, our intention is that every member of our community experiences flourishing. And as a result of each person's individual experience of flourishing, that we as a community begin to flourish as well. So that will be open to everybody. It will be kind of a book study class. Kurt and I will both be facilitating it. More information of that will roll out, but that's going to be starting very soon, actually. Let's see. Is that everything? Okay. So yesterday afternoon was a new moon. And new moons are like the time of planting seeds. There's kind of like a cycle is beginning, something is up, and there's an energy about each one of them. It is in Taurus, which is lovely, and there's a great fecundity about what Taurus is. But very interestingly, this new moon happened to be exactly on the but the star Algol. And Algol is the eye of Medusa. And so the real question comes up, as we progress, what do we let go of in order to move forward? And sometimes that triggers fear. So here is our question of the day. Is there something that you are being called to look at that perhaps makes you afraid? Is there something that you might be looking at that perhaps makes you a bit afraid? Jim, you want to try that?
I think I'm afraid to look at Medusa. I think for me, it's just, myself is probably the hardest thing to look at with clarity, and always wondering what you're going to find there, but it's something that hopefully I'm doing on a regular basis.
I had to sit with this question for a little bit, and I think the deepest thing I can sense that the narrative that's coming to me that I have a fear around is actually success. And I learned that I make art to say something, and ideally that art gets out there and gets attention, but I make art because I'm scared of certain things in life and scared of certain things about humanity. So I make this art, and then I don't want attention because I'm scared. So I got to learn how to make the art and then be comfortable with trying to make it powerful and drawing attention to it. I've had this fear around thinking that there's power to that art, and I've got to get around that and just go, hey, if I believe in it, I got to believe in it fully and go for it.
Beautiful, thank you. Reverend Laura, you have one. Mine is red, by the way.
I have.
It's turned on.
Hello? Oh. I have a fear of not making time for friends and relationships. All I do is work. It's fun, all of it, but it's not personal for me. So that's my thing. Hence, I started a singles club. That'll make it work.
What about what?
I'm passing the mic.
Any other questions?
So anybody here in the community, is there something that you're being called to look at that might be bringing up fear?
I think it's where the government's heading. It scares me. Without getting too political, that's what I'm supposed to say.
Okay, very good, thank you.
I am currently living with my son and my grandson and my daughter-in-law, and they are planning to move to Arizona, and they want me to go with them. And that scares me. I'm scared to go, and I'm scared to stay. So it's a conflict.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
I'm not scared now, but for the last year, I've been very, very, very scared. My brother died with Alzheimer's, and a doctor suggested that I go and be checked. And in today's appointments, it takes a long time. So it wasn't until 3 weeks ago that I was told I don't have it, and I'll probably get Alzheimer's 10 years after I'm gone. So I thought that was wonderful.
Anyone else? Daniel's up front here.
Yeah, I'm called every day to look at what's happening in the world politically, and I'm really afraid to look at it and see how much destruction and what is happening to it, because there's so much pain inside of me when I look at it. That's why I'm afraid to look at it, because I don't want to see it and I don't want to feel the reality of it. It's just, yeah.
Anyone else? Yes.
For 55 years of my life, I've been defined as the professional person, and I'm on the edge of retirement, and I don't know who I'm going to be.
Wow, man.
You know, that's a change of definition and identity that scares me. Like you, don't have a lot of friends, work all the time, love my work, but you know what? That needs to shift.
Yep. Yeah, that's the energy. Anyone else?
I guess I'll go.
Big breath on these.
Yeah.
Big breathing here. Keep
Breathe. For me, I think about like Carl Jung's quote when he says, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and it will become fate." And you know, with Medusa, with my I'm kind of venturing into psychosomatic work, and Medusa is very, very powerful. And sometimes when we look at her, it draws into a freeze response, and she can be described as our fear. So so just be careful when that happens, you know, because it's like it'll cause shutdown. And so there are different ways and to cope with that, which is like exercise, move, so you know we don't fall into like doom and gloom, right? So it's a very powerful question to really understand that about ourselves. And to speak to for myself, yeah, looking at myself every day and you know doing that work that puts me on the road to character.
Right. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Anyone else? Chris.
Yeah, I like the idea of I'm afraid to look deeply into myself. But I had been reading something about this notion of the future. And so it's like something that might be blocking me from looking at myself is because it's always, what am I going to be in the future? Or am I going to change or get better? Or I need to transform? And because of that fixation on the future, I'm not able to look deeply into myself right at this moment and face the fears that are there of myself.
There you go. At the end of the day, it seems that way. Anyone else? Okay.
For me, it's definitely the fear of the unknown of living and where I'm going to be. Living with my children's father isn't sustainable, and I know I've got to move, but I've got so much to pack and unpack and find, and just there's a lot of fear of the unknown for me.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Larry was up here. Yep.
Okay, so as a lot of you know, I've written a book about my year in Vietnam, 1967, called Suicide Survivor. And so I'm really excited about getting the word out about it. I'm also afraid about getting the word out because there's a lot of approach avoidance, a lot of feelings coming up with fear.
Beautiful. Anyone else? I'll give everybody a voice. We're just going to put all this on the work table and breathe it. And so we're just holding all of that, and I'm just going to pass this over to Reverend Laura, who will lead us into a prayer with all of this stuff, the perfect person for it, to begin our service.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Laura DiDonato. I'm a reverend through Emerson, so I'm an associate reverend. And I would like to invite you, I do see some new faces, to give the person next to you a hug and a good morning. Wow. That's a lot of love in this room. All right, let's put 2 feet on the ground. Sit very tall so that the spiritual flow doesn't stop anywhere. It goes all the way through. Let's take a nice deep breath in and out. I am so grateful for this morning. As we gather together, our beautiful hearts as one. And we are one with this universe, this beautiful, miraculous universe. As I look above me, I welcome guidance and protection. As I look below me, I welcome and grateful for everything Mother Earth gives us. Food, water, sunshine, air, the miracle of this earth. I don't know why we would want to look anywhere else. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for, as I look to the left of me, I welcome loving myself and welcoming new relationships. As I look to the right of me, I create and make new choices for a more prosperous and successful life. As I look behind me, I let go of all that has gone before, the past. I let go of those old stories I don't need anymore. They do not serve me now. They're in the past. And then I look before me, in front of me, to create and make wonderful choices to fulfill my dreams and goals. And I look within my heart, knowing that my heart is the center of my thoughts, my actions, my life. I make my choices through my heart, because my heart will never lie to me. And my heart is the light that we pass on to others, that we share with others. And as we share that light this morning, knowing that all is well, the divine love is here now. As we live and breathe, that divine love permeates through our bodies, through our breath, through our eyes, and all that we see. We see only beauty and joy and peace. And as we welcome this morning's message with Reverend Dr. Guy and his wonderful guidance and spiritual tools to help us live a more abundant and joyful life, we also welcome the amazing talent of Lee and the heartbeat of Jim. And so with these truths, knowing that we are the manifestation of God, of spirit, of love, and I release into the law of mind, knowing that it's all good in our neighborhood. And together we say, and so it is. The quote for today is for our soul. I am not a machine. I am a soul having a human experience. I was never sent here to produce, perform, survive, and call it living. I came here to feel the music move through my body and let sunsets soften my heart, to laugh until my spirit remembers itself, to be held by connection, beauty, wonder, joy. Rest is not something I earn after I've exhausted myself. Peace is not a reward for being useful. The universe is reminding me that my presence is already sacred. Slow down, look up, breathe deeper. Life is not a checklist to complete. It is a miracle to witness. The world may rush, but my soul knows the rhythm. I am allowed to live. And now we're going to share some breath together. As we inhale, God is. As we exhale, I am, 3 times. God is, inhale. Exhale, I am. Inhale, God is. Exhale, I am. Inhale, God is. Exhale, I am. we say, and so it is.
I'm going to play this brand new song from an artist I follow on social media. Some new 2026 music that I think is so beautifully human. And the name of this artist, his name is Sasha Allen. And I think it's not only beautifully human, but it's also beautiful coming from, he's a transgender artist. And it's just such a powerful human song. So I wanted to share this one about keeping your humanity in this ever-changing world. Let's take the bluebirds and give them the blueprints to build their own motorized wings, till it's all automated, from the nest they created to hatching and learning to sing. So when they open their mouths, it's a strange sort of sound. It's mechanical melodies glued into key. They no longer spend their whole mornings on music, and all that it costed was the trees. I learned to play this little art of mine with the hands and the mind of a child. The frustration eventually faded, it all turns to calluses after a while. I struggled through fire and rain and the gambler, smoke on the water and strawberry wine. I've spent a whole lot of mornings on music, all that it costed was a little bit of time. Let's take the bluebirds and give them the blueprints to build their own motorized wings, until it's all automated, from the nest they created to hatching and learning to sing. So when they open their mouths, it's a strange sort of sound, mechanical melodies glued into key. They no longer spend their mornings on music, and all that it costed was the tree. Sasha Allen. Keep that going for our Reverend Dr. Guy Williams.
So I'm going to share a little bit about kind of what I do on Sunday mornings. There's a prayer that I pray every Sunday, and it's actually the opening of the Odyssey. And it goes, sing to me, O muses, and tell a story through me. And of course, that is the beginning. Homer is saying that, sing to me, O muses, and tell a story through me about a man. But the prayer is, sing to me, O muses, and tell a story through me. Tell a story today through me about creation. Tell a story through me about community. Tell me a story through me about the very nature and soul of the universe, and how each and every one of us progresses through that. So that is my intention, that is my prayer. That's, if you were with me at 5 o'clock this morning, that's what I was praying. And another thing that I do is there's a couple books that I generally read before I pray and meditate. And I have this lovely little book that money falls out of, which is always a good thing. But I have this book that I read, and it's like little readings, and then they kind of come through, and then the next, when you're done with it, you start over again, and it's just kind of something. But I want to read with you the first little paragraph or two in the book, and it's called Adaptedhood, by a guy by the name of Martin Falks. Martin Falks is somebody who I thoroughly enjoy. He's got a very interesting YouTube station, but he's a member of a fraternal organization that I happen to belong to, and he also runs a publishing house in England. But it says this: "You asked me, is there not a way to total enlightenment without the need for contact with higher spiritual forces? I don't know how you can conceive this to be possible. How can you possibly imagine you can reach higher without contact with higher divine forces? The very forces you seek to reject are those which you dream of having within yourself. A true follower of the path is filled with these blessings and radiates them forth in every moment. Adapthood is union with divinity, and this comes about from an ongoing and tireless aspiration towards the higher virtues and most pure thoughts. Can't you see that finding yourself and finding God is the same thing? If you deny one, then you deny the other. You need to use both approaches as one." So Ernest Holmes says, the innermost God and the highermost God is the same God. What the mystics have taught us through the ages is that we seek without but discover within. Now, what I love deeply about our particular denomination, if you would, or community, is we don't define what that is for you. It's up for you to discover it for yourself. And it could be anything. It could be an idea of something that comes from ancient poetry of different cultures. It could simply be the songs that you hear floating, or the universe itself. There's this book that I just love. I haven't read it in decades, but it's called When Elephants Weep. And there's this wonderful chapter about bears. And what they've noticed about bears is that they will periodically notice them watching sunsets, not for any intrinsic value, except for the ecstatic experience of what that is. And I can assure you that Yogi Bear, as he's watching a sunset, is not contemplating the Bhagavad Gita or the Hebrew Bible or any spiritual literature, but is connecting to the very essence of beingness itself. So however that happens for you and wherever that is for you, I invite you to pursue that with zest and vigor. For myself, part of my path, part of my spiritual quest is the teachings of the science of mind and spirit. And I love it because it gives me a long leash to explore other things and incorporate them in, because that's how my mind works. And I was thinking this week, because of what's happening at our center, and what is it that I'm afraid to look at, and just kind of going back to this and this idea of what it would look like for us as a community to flourish as individuals, and as a result of a community to do this, because we've been down this road before. I had the opportunity to sit with my mentor and teacher last weekend. And I remember something that she had said, we had talked about it actually when we were together, is I remember when I first came to this center and sitting with this thing, because we were in a situation very similar to where we are right now. And she said to me, she says, "Guy, this is the meaning of give us this day our daily bread. This is what that looks like." And so, so I sit with that, but so I was reading someone who's considered probably, I don't know if there's such a thing as the founder of New Thought. I've heard everybody, but he's certainly one of the founders, and he certainly has one of the coolest names, second only to Phineas Parkhurst Quimby. You've got to love that name, Phineas Quimby. But the guy who has an equally fun name is Wallace Wattles. Don't you love that name, Wallace Wattles? It's like the kind of name that you want to name a dog, but you don't want to do that because that would be rude. But if you think about it, wouldn't that be a good name for like a golden retriever, Wallace Wattles? But anyway, he wrote a book called The Science of Getting Rich. And he wrote this, late 19th century, early 20th century, and it's pretty archaic in its language. And there's a woman who is probably one of the few New Thought scholars alive today, and her name is Ruth Miller. And she's done, I don't want to say, you can't call them translations, edits, I suppose, where she takes the archaic language of early, 19th century, late 19th century, early 20th century books like Emerson and Troward and Emma Curtis Hopkins, and she sort of writes them in a more contemporary way. And so I've been reading that book because I'm interviewing it for the class that Kurt and I are going to do. And whether or not we choose to do it, what I know is for myself, it's a good book for me to be reading right now because where our attention is where the energy begins to move through us. And part of the science of mind and spirit is the understanding that what feeds our mind begins to articulate the experiences that we begin to have in this life. And that whole story about Algol and the line of Medusa, isn't it interesting in how many scriptures, whether it's the myth of Medusa or Lot's wife in the Hebrew Bible, that when we become captivated by something in the past, and we can't take our eyes off of it, when we become captivated that something, I just can't help doom scroll where that is, there's a calcifying thing that begins to happen to us. In a sense, we become like stone, immobilized by fear, regret, shame, or blame, or whatever the case may be, whatever gets triggered. And so, to quote Gracie Slick in her first album, Surrealistic Pillow, I think it was the first album I bought, feed your mind. Feed your mind. And feed your mind, nurture it with something that is helpful and healthy and inspires a vision from you. So reading Wallace, but one of the things that he says in there, and I want to kind of, if I can, what he says is that everybody deserves to be rich. So the word rich is a funny word for me, but I want to tell you my process in this because this is more in alignment with kind of how I see things, is that every living being has a right to flourish. Whether it be a tree, a rabbit, and I would have to talk to Rolo about that one, a rabbit, a person. Every living being has the right to flourish because it's coded into the very DNA of it. In an intelligence evolving, becoming aware universe, nothing was created to be thrown away. Nothing was created to not have meaning or purpose or a direction towards life itself. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, because it's 5 minutes into my talk and I'm quoting him already, but something that he says that I sit with often is he says, progress is the soul of the universe. Progress is the soul of the universe. And the soul is the repository of the dreams, memories, reflections, all those things that are part of how we move through that great container. And in the universe, it's progress. And if I think about that, as I think about this, because I'm giving the talk, and so you're to plug into my mind, I think in terms of creation itself. You know, the very first things that we know 13 plus so many billions of years ago, we'll just start there. And metaphysics can take us beyond there, but for the sake of this conversation, I mean, I am going to cover 13 billion years in 20 minutes. So, but if you think in terms of that first initial something coming into experience, it's an interesting thing, because what we begin to understand, and mystics have articulated it in certain ways, but quantum physics gives us a new poetry, a new language to begin to create an imagination about it. And very quickly then, so what we know is, you know, within the first couple billion of years, there's this great explosion of energy that's sort of this universal plasmic soup that is expanding out to the very edges of the universe as we understand it. And it's measured in degrees of keldons, which means it's so hot that our particular laws of physics can't calculate anything about it. But something happens. Little fluctuations, anomalies, a little cool here, a little cool there, something begins to happen. Little disruptions in the order of this plasma begin to happen. And in those little fluctuations, little coolings begin to happen. And the next thing you know, subatomic particles and then atomic particles begin to happen. And if you think in terms of what an atom is, it's these subatomic particles sort of coming together and speaking, hey, you want to hang out? And they form what's known as an atom. And then more fluctuations and more things begin to happen. And then these atoms begin to form molecules. And a molecule is simply a couple atoms that say, hey, you want to hang out? And then in time, other things begin to happen. The periodic table of elements begins to happen, and eventually stars, and planets, and solar systems, and even our own, and life itself. But there's this ongoing adventure. And what we can say is, if we know one thing about the universe, it is always moving forward and never moving backward. And the thing that drives the forward motion is these anomalies. I read the other day that there is something, well, we all know that there's something called dark matter, but 96% of the known universe is dark matter, which basically means we can conceive of and understand 4% of what the universe is made of. The other 96%, we don't know what the heck that is. But it seems that's where creation is. And again, this is a new language for us. It's a new poetry for us, maybe a new theopoetics for us. The ancients said it differently. In the beginning created God the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. Now what's interesting is we have been told, I was told, you know, good old grumpy Thomas Aquinas, of something called creation ex nihilo, creatio ex nihilo, that creation happens from nothing. That's not what it says. What it says before creation is the deep. Before creation, there is something, the void, the waters, call it what you want. And the Spirit moves, breathes, stirs the waters, and something begins to happen. And what I would offer, just for your consideration, in this idea is that everything that is today was contained within that moment of Big Bang. The potential of everything that is today, the cars, the universe, the seat you're sitting on, your very body, your family, your garden, the potential for all of that was there in that moment. The other thing I want you to just kind of consider, if you will, is even as everything was in there, nothing was determined to be. But what we understand is the universe itself, going from a being to a cell, to a molecule, to an atom, to a subatomic atom, and breaking it down to quarks and things that I have no idea what I'm talking about. What we do come up with is that the universe that we live in is relational. Everything is in relationship to itself in everything else. Nothing is not in relationship to it. And everything then becomes part of something complete within itself, but part of something greater than itself. And that's the very movement of the universe itself. Pierre Teilhard says this. He says, he says first that that progress is the soul of the universe, and then he says that as it is evolving, we begin to understand this handiwork of whatever you want to call it, I will call it God, that creation becomes more complex, congruent, and conscious. What does that mean? It means it becomes more unified, there's greater depth, and there's greater awareness. And that's where it is, from the Big Bang to you and I having a conversation about it is complexity, congruence, and consciousness. Or as Kurt Vonnegut would say, we are the mud that gets to get up and look around. Lucky us, lucky mud. But that's how it is. Or as the mystics would say, we are Teresa of Avila would say, we are the eyes and the ears and the activity of spirit. We are how a imperfect, intelligent, evolving universe is understanding itself. And how it understands itself is through dark matter. How evolution happens is because of necessity. Because if that weren't so, we'd still have prehensile tails, which I don't think that was such a bad idea. We'd be sitting in trees, but we're not. And here we are, figuring out what to do with ourselves. And it's from these fluctuations. And what I would offer is that this is true for each and every one of us. Because if you think in terms of your own growth, your own evolution, your own progress, it has come because of fluctuations, dark matter, voids, losses, confusions. And these are the things that invite us to grow. And how we begin to grow is to reflect on something, a guiding star, if you would. And so I think that for myself, and for you to consider, is everything that I am today was contained in that moment 13 plus billion years ago. And that it has evolved through time and space in many ways, in many areas and eons, and you names it. But here it is, being aware and contemplating and knowing that the law of the universe, which is universal, is also very individual, meaning that our direction is always forward, never retrograde. And the mystics tell us what happens when we go do retrograde. We're like Lot's wife. We become like stone. We get calcified. We're no longer in the livingness of life, perhaps in the existence of life, but we're not flourishing. Because flourishing itself happens moving forward. It's how it is. Cyclically, maybe linearly, who knows? I don't know that part yet. I'm a didactic, which means I sort of float on the surface of things. I'm not a physicist. But what I can do is I can tell a story. And hopefully that story creates an imagination, and hopefully that imagination begins to invite us to look at things from this level. But what I want to offer is this, is the access, the way we begin to understand this from a deeper and more universal level. And I want to quote to you from sort of the tradition that I come from. And what am I? A Hermetic socialist, Christian, whatever. But I am always compelled by the teachings of Jesus. And there is something that Jesus says in the Gospel of John, 3 words. And to me, they are the most important words in the entire Hebrew and Christian Bible. They are found in other texts and other scriptures as well, but they are the 3 most important. So what's happening is, if I can set the scene, is the disciples are asking Jesus, when will the kingdom come? When will the kingdom come? Will there be signs? Will there be wonders? Where are this, all that kind of stuff. And he kind of says to them, you're sort of missing the plot. Because it's not going to come from waiting. It's not going to come from anything that you can construe. It's not going to come from, colonization or building temples or any of those kinds of things. What he says, or what's reported that he says, because it's written in Greek, is 3 words. Basileos theos intos. The kingdom of God is within. And they're interesting words that the writer of this chose. Because the word kingdom in Greek, in this particular statement, is basileia. And it's not a person. It's a principle. It's a guiding principle of what will be. And Jesus was, in the prophetic tradition, was always speaking of what that would be. A sense of unity, the power of love, the power of restorative genius, and the restorative justice. But the presence and power of love itself, that is the principle, and the divine intos is within. This divine principle, this guiding force, this experience of divinity itself is not found outside of us. It's not in any temple or cathedral or anything. It's inside of us. And this is exactly what the mystical teachings of Islam teach through the Sufis. It's what is found in the Sanskrit of I had to ask Andrea how to say it. I just want to say the Atman, but it's Tamya Asi, that which is, I am that which is. It's not our experiences, it's not even our thoughts, but it is the observer of our thoughts and the observer of our experiences. And it is within us. The innermost God and the outermost God, call it what you will, is the same principle. And if we're looking for direction, don't look outside. When you try to predict the future, you have limited what possibilities could be based on your own wounded, limited imagination. Hartmut Rosa says, a controlled world is a dead world. But what we're looking for as we journey within is a sense of resonance, this echo that is within us, and we recognize it, and this echo brings us all the way back to the very beginning of things that is moving forward through us and as us. And there's a promise in it. And again, I'll go back to the Hebrew tradition, Abraham. Abraham was called to leave what was familiar and predictable and familiar, family-oriented. And the promise was, you will be guided, you will be changed, and you will be a blessing. And for anybody who decides or is called or is lured or tricked into the spiritual path, it is the same promise. You will be guided, you will be changed, and you will be a blessing. And whatever is going on in your life right now, whatever fluctuation or dark matter may be up, it is that very experience that is inviting evolution to take place. And perhaps the first thing to do is not to try to figure it out, but to go within. Maybe it's not your best way of doing things in all your experiences. Maybe it is that voice, that echo from the very creation, that soul of the universe that is progressing through you, that, as Emerson says, begins to show a way where there is no way. Opens doors where heretofore there were no doors. Opportunities that we didn't think because we weren't looking. Mother Teresa was once asked in an interview by Dan Rather, what do you do when you pray? And she says, I listen. And Dan Rather said, thinking that he got her, he says, well then, what is God saying? And she goes, he listens. The listening of the listening of the listening. What does God, why do I do when I pray? I listen. And what's God doing? Listening. If the universe is open and relational, and love is the power that engenders everything, it is always listening to the voice of love. And as Laura said at the very beginning of the talk, it will never steer us wrong because it is that intelligence that has been guiding things since the very moment everything has been. So I invite you to pray with me in this moment. To pray. If it feels comfortable, would shut your eyes, you can do so. If not, you can watch me shut my eyes. And simply to go to that place within, the Basileia Theos Intos, the kingdom of heaven that is within, the guiding principle, the intelligence that is within. Call it what you may. Jesus called it Abba, loving parent, or principle like a loving parent. Recognizing it, opening ourselves it, listening, being listened to, knowing this presence, this beingness, this intelligence that is agile and novel and loving and generous and good, which has been luring and inviting and drawing to and directing subtly since the beginning of anything and all things, is the same activity that is living within each and every one of us. We may be confused. There may be darkness. There may even be a void. But the Spirit that brought all things into being is hovering upon the waters. And our response is, I am which is. I am that which is. And I exist within this intelligence that has brought forth all of its creation to flourish. And so that right, that vocation, that call to flourish is within me. And my yes is my response to say, allow me to resonance with that force, and I will be guided. I will be changed, and to all creation, I will be a blessing. So mote it be.
I wasn't planning on playing this song, but I have to now because this is my original song about the kingdom within. It's called The Gift. I'm always making my future self happy. It's gonna be great someday. Obsessed with the truth and hopeful some youth will hear what I'm wanting to say. See, I've changed relations with expectations. Now I know why music's the best. I thought it was magic, but we're sort of tragic. We just wanna know what's next. We love to know what's next. What a gift to wonder. What a life to live. What a time to ponder. What a gift to give. It's easy to please me are things I'll keep telling myself. Though I try not to worry, as most things are stories, I seem to be selling myself. I seem to be selling myself. What a gift to wonder. What a life to live. What a time to ponder. What a gift to give. At the birth of a dawn of a new way has come, and the child has something to share. As inside each of us, love keeps on teaching us, though it's scary to care. Slow down through the ages, they got us in stages. Now we're getting up to speed. Still I'm at a loss if you're wearing the cross, but bearing the burden it freed. Bearing the burden it freed. What a gift to wonder. What a life to live. What a time to ponder. What a gift to give. Oh, the kingdom. Thank you. Alignment.
Resonance.
Yes,
got a mic? You can use mine. Or you got
Ta-da! All right, it's that time of giving. But before I do, I'd like to read a prayer that will take us to that giving light within, not just giving out, but also receiving, so that we're part of that circle of giving and receiving. So let's hold your hand or your love on paper on your heart. Divine Beloved, allow me to give with complete ease and abundance, knowing that you are the unlimited source of all. Let me be an easy, open conduit for your prosperity. Let me trust that all my own needs are always met in amazing ways, and that it is safe to give freely as my heart guides. And equally let me feel wide open to receiving. May I know my own value, beauty, and worthiness without question. Let me allow others the supreme pleasure of giving to me. May I feel worthy to receive in every possible way. Change me into one who can fully love, forgive, and accept myself, so I may carry your light without restriction. Let everything that needs to go, go. Let everything that needs to come, come. I am utterly your own. You are me, I am you, we are one. All is well.
Coming through. People like you and you and you. You didn't have to, but you do, but you do. You keep on coming through, coming through, coming through. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Thank you. The people coming through.
The things I see that you don't see. Paul and Daniel out dancing in the narthex. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lee and Jim. Always a pleasure to have you guys up here and always doing what you're doing, creating that sonic tapestry that wraps us in this experience of love. Thank you to Henri and Mike back there doing the soundboard. It's good to have two bodies back there. It just makes it that much better. The greeters today were whom? Who was greeting today? Chris and Betty were greeting? Cool. Thank you for the greeters. Do give a lot of love to Kurt and Julieta and Deanna and Ann, who are out there making a feast. And let's let Mike and Henri and Lee and Jim eat first. We're going to be doing a town hall, so grab a plate, eat a little bit, then we'll circle up. We'll try to move this fast because I know Sundays are a busy day and there's all kinds of stuff going on. Thank you, Laura. It was always a pleasure to be up here on the lectern of the platform with you as well. Again, if your heart has been touched in any way, please do not leave without the benefit of prayer. Those of you who are in the virtual world, thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Have I forgotten anybody? Heavens, I hope not. If I did, it's... As I say, this is what ADD looks like unmedicated. So be patient with me. Actually, that was my whole journal process today. Oh, my goodness. Good. I always thank Andrea for all she does, and I should publicly do it. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, yes. And Noreen and Charlotte, who are in the gift shop, too. And Mark, who gardens for us and does everything. And Terry, who loves everybody. And I don't know, everybody, Mike Popovich, thank you for having Ann as your wife. Our board, Meredith and Paul and Laura and Kurt and who else? Who's on? Steve, who's in Puerto Vallarta this weekend. So we're, yeah. Matt. And did I mention what? I did not mention the jewelry. Want to mention the jewelry? Thank you.
So we have gathered some of Liz's jewelry. It is in the gift shop. And donation only, cash check, your choice. It will go towards her memorial celebration. It's on a table in there. Many women have picked treasures already this morning, so please do go. This is something that Lizzie wore. There are other things. There's a bracelet. So please enjoy.
Chris, that's turquoise, right?
Yeah.
You know where turquoise looks really good? Arizona. Too soon. You're right, too soon. Just saying. So let us pray. So we end our celebration with a benediction, a good word. A good word. That word is amazement. It is wonder. It is awe. It is resonance. So my blessing is this: wherever you may find yourself on this incredible journey called life, whatever step you are taking and whatever the next indicated step that is revealed to you is, may you be filled with wonder and amazement and surprise. May it awaken within you an echo of resonance and reverence. And it may be the guide to be of service, remembering that you are part of something greater than yourself, that your life has meaning and worth and dignity, that the gifts that you have are essential to all of our evolution. And the truest thing about you, more true than any other truth, is that you are known, you are seen by that very presence that brought all things into being, and it gives a hoot about you. So mote it be. All righty.
Here's a little freedom and overcoming from the best to ever do it, maybe. The Rolling Stones.
I was born in a crossfire hurricane, and I house every morning and drive every rain. Yeah, but it's so right now. Matter of fact, it's a guy, but it's so right. I'm jumping jet flash, it's a gas. I was raised by a toothless beauty high. I was schooled with a strap right across my back. Yeah, but it's alright now. Matter of fact, it's a guy, but it's alright. I'm jumping jet flash, it's that gas guy. I was washed up and left for dead. I fell down to my feet and I saw they bled. Then I frowned at the crumbs on the crust of bread. I was crowned with a stripe right through my hair. Yeah, but it's alright it's alright. I'm jumping Jack Flash. It's like gas, gas, gas. Take that freedom into your Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday.